See, the Indian structure, the Indian musical structure, has been designed for great deals of consciousness very out front. That is, there are rags, or five-note relationships, that are designed by conscious beings to be played either at morning, noon, or evening on specific seasons, during the rainy season, during certain periods of the year, when you're in certain moods. And then the music is designed to work with your consciousness at that level. All done perfectly consciously the way it's designed. It's the auditory part of what a mandala is, a visual form. The mandala used by the Tibetans, for example, if you go to a Tibetan physician and you have something wrong with you, either in mind or body, he is very likely often to give you a mandala to work with. And the center of that mandala, what you do with a mandala is you sit down and you focus on the entire, it's a set of circles within squares and then with certain gates out at the openings. You sit down and you make your focal field the entire mandala, and then slowly it draws you in and in through all the gates and all the circles, and then you come to the center and you go through the center and out. And what you experience when you go through the center is the working out of the karma that created the problem that you came to the doctor for. Right? In other words, that mandala gets you straight in the way you were crooked. Right? He's prescribing a mandala for you. Well, now, these are the same things in sound. They're mandalas of sound. I am sure now that I was then too young to understand it all, and that I only felt it. It was the pictures I remembered, and the words that went with them. For nothing I have ever seen with my eyes was so clear and bright as what my vision showed me. And no words that I have ever heard with my ears were like the words I heard. I did not have to remember these things. They have remembered themselves all these years. It was as I grew older that the meanings came clearer and clearer out of the pictures and the words. And even now I know that more was shown to me than I can tell. That is Black Elk of the Ogallala Sioux speaking. And in relation to our recent exercise, in real art there is nothing accidental. It is mathematics. Everything in it can be calculated. Everything can be known beforehand. The artist knows and understands what he wants to convey. The art will produce different impressions on people of different levels. Each of us is a conscious artist, and the lives we live become the manifestations of our understanding of the laws of nature. And pure art is in harmony at every level, as above, so below. So that not just the painting you paint or the song you sing, but the life you live becomes a statement of the eternal verities all the time. So the creative act turns out to be every act all the time. Every act becomes a consecrated act. Every act is designed to wake you up. When you're deep in the music and the baby cries, who is the baby? What is that? Somebody that's come to wake us up. That is God's sound as much as that's God's sound, as much as this is God's sound. You got to keep stretching, see? You got to keep stretching. And that too. Yeah, and that too. Wow, and that too. If it's not all divine, it's certainly a weird situation. It's all divine but you, but that, but it, but him. Be quiet, I'm becoming enlightened. So that I can be you. But be quiet. That's what we'd like to say most of the time when you live in a city. You like to say, would you cool it, city, because I'd really like to get on with it. But the only cooling that ever can happen is the cooling in your own head. The city just doing its thing. It's your trip about the city, that's where it's at. Till everybody you see is somebody you're serving because they're all God. Oh, that's a pure idealistic statement. True. For anybody that doesn't have total faith. For me, for example. I'm a beginner. In the temple, there are 9 people, and I walk 9th. And I'm grooved to even carry the water for the team. These young sadhus. But besides the meditations you do now and again, there is also techniques you use to just keep conscious all day long, all the time, whatever you're doing. One of them is the witness. It's that place in your mind where you see how it all is. You see hunger, you see fatigue, you see desire, you see all the world's games, you see your own games, your body's games, your heart's games, your mind's games. You watch it all with great compassion, with the unbearable compassion of Buddha. Just, yeah, right, that's how it all is. Whew. Man, isn't it something? So exquisitely articulated. You know that thing I said from C.S. Lewis, from Paralandra? You don't see the plan because it's all planned. But when you keep jumping levels, you keep seeing the plan at another level. And then you realize, as above, so below, as below, so above. So you realize you're seeing your own process. When you study your cells, you're seeing the whole social microcosm. And planetary, it's just same levels all the way up and down. Wisdom exists everywhere, all lawfully related. If you could become one with that piece of music by Bach, you would then have all the wisdom that that music holds about rhythm, the rhythms of the universe, about the octave and the relationships of energies at different frequencies of vibration. You'd know it all, just with that one piece of music. Turns out that wherever you are at any moment is the next message. The minute you decide, all there are messages. Come home, is there any message? No, no message. That's a message, isn't it? Can you conceive of anything that isn't a message that will help you become enlightened if you decided to become enlightened? I can't. I can't think of anything in form. Because anything I could conceive of is obviously the manifestation of my own desires. So it's showing me where I'm not, because it's showing me my desires. The demons are only demons you create at every level. Anybody you're ever afraid of is somebody you created in your head. And they will exist in that form as long as you feel that way. See, to understand the Tao, you have to see the whole game from outside of time and space. To understand this plane of nature, you have to be outside of this plane of nature. And the thing about this plane at which we are identified with bodies and personalities is that we're in time and space. And only when you can stand outside of time and space, which means stand outside of your own rational mind, can you see your own predicament thoroughly. And so you get to the point where you use everything around you to help you get free of time and space in order to do what you do. And in the meantime, you do what you do. That's a straight way of saying it. In the meantime, you do what you do. It's groovy to build into your life getting your body straight with with foods, as opposed to rajasic or tamasic foods. It's groovy to get your body straight with hatha yoga or tai chi or something like that. It's groovy to get your mind straight with one-pointed exercises like meditations on your breath or on a candle flame, or music meditations, or sexual meditations. If I keep broadening or this, or meditations on eating, or meditations on shitting, or meditations on showering, or meditations on, until you see it's all a meditation. It's all a meditation, because the witness never goes away. And first there's the little witness in us. See, there's the guy inside that's watching, and he's rational, and he's just sitting around watching it all. But he's only the guy on this side of the doorway. On the other side of the doorway is the eternal witness, the big W. It's Buddha and Christ. It's all the team just sitting here. All sitting here, right here now. Hi, Doug, we're all here. Everybody here. Sure. And that us that is is looking at all of this or that. We are looking at that, that, and saying yes and that too. And we've seen it for thousands of incarnations. And there's no place to go, and there's no rush, because it's all happened already. See, when you start to live in the space of 4 dimensions, that is where you see time in the same way as you see width and length and depth. Then you sit in a place where there is only one of us. And from here, where there is one of us, we are wisdom, though we do not know. It's the wisdom of Buddha, it's the love of Christ, compassion of the Buddha. It's the laws of Moses. It's all the aspects of the Mahat Atman, the one consciousness, the Godhead, that from which all the rest is manifest. In each of us is the divine spark, and to stay in it all day, all the time, we use the witness with our rational minds, and then we use mantra. The mantra, I am a point of sacrificial fire held within the fiery will of God. Try focusing on your ajna, your 6th chakra, and doing that one for about a week. I am a point of sacrificial fire held within the fiery will of God. If that one's too scary, that's a real power mantra. That's 6th chakra mantra. You do the Aditya Hridayam Punyam Savshatru Bina Shanam, the one we did before. All evil vanishes from the universe for him who keeps the sun in his heart. That's a 4th chakra mantra for the heart. And you find a mantra that feels at home for you. Om is a mantra. Ram is a mantra. Rama, 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 Rama. Lord Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus, Son of God, have mercy. Lord Jesus, Son of God, have mercy. That's a mantra. Ao mane pedme hong 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 mane pedme hong ao mane pedme hong ao mane pedme hong ao mane pedme hong ao mane pedme That's a mantra. So that mantra is going right inside you, right in your heart, all day long. And right from that place, you're seeing it all. This, all the planes and levels, and through it all is Aum Mane Padme Aum Mane. There's talking, there's listening, there's lovemaking, there's eating, there's driving, there's stopping, there's fatigue, there's hunger, there's dying and birth, trees and snow and east and west and nations and religions and Om Mane Padme Aum Mane Padme Aum Mane. It's a general mantra. It just takes you in and in and in and in. until you're right here. Now, always. And tapasya, austerity. Tapasya, straightening by fire. Tapasya, straightening by fire. Every time you meet another demon, anytime you meet another attachment, another desire, there it is. Straightening by fire. Every time you feel a desire for or till finally you're just in a bed of flames all the time. Because you want to get straight so much. You're not sitting around wanting, you're just directed more and more towards getting purified. And in the process, you just realize you just got to burn out all the impurities. And it's not masochistic, it's just high ecstasy. It's a fire of ecstasy. And the fiercer it is, the better. Wow, man, they're sending fierce demons these days. So you get to the point in your astral travels where every thought you have is manifest in form, and you begin to see how it works. And then if you have a desire, it happens. And then you really get scared because you see how you create your own karma. And then you see these mountains of karma you're producing every day. Holy, wow, I got to get rid of all that too. I mean, you're creating lifetimes for yourself just by the thousands. And when that horror has fully seeped into all your cells, then you find the only actions you can perform are actions which don't create new karma. That is, actions which are in harmony with what is required at the moment and don't come out of any my will, they're all thy will. Not my, but thy will, O Lord. Because if you're doing thy will, there's no new karma created. That's his problem. From the dualistic point of view. And it's our problem, or it's my problem from the non-dualist point. It's just karma living out. It's just a set of circumstances happening until they're done happening. I dig when people say to me, well, if everybody got enlightened, what would happen to all this? Well, nobody would be creating it. I mean, you only need it as long as you need it. This is the toddler's playroom. But pretty soon everybody gets to a point, well, that's a question. After all, there are always toddlers. There are always new babies, and they're always being born into the illusion. You see, finally, when you get conscious enough, you don't get born again. And when everybody gets to that point, then there's no babies to be had anymore. I mean, every baby that's born is somebody coming around again. And most of us haven't yet come into the being we were last time around. And some of you must feel that very strongly. I certainly do quite often. That I'm still getting back. My guru brother used to say to me, last time we'd be at some place, like in a traffic situation, he'd say, last time I died here. Or once I got stopped right here. Wow. When you can see how it all is with the dispassion of Buddha, the dispassion of Christ, not Jesus, but Christ. The dispassion of he who says, now it's completed. Dispassion of he who says, well, tomorrow's the big day. When you can see your own drama with that dispassion, then the understanding of how it all is overwhelms your every feeling, and there is just such total compassion for how it is, including, of course, and most intimately, your own predicament. When you have sufficient compassion about yourself, then you got compassion for the rest of it. If you can't start being compassionate for them, that's obviously a hype. That's just another game of compassion. When you say, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, man. At every level of beauty, ugly. Is it beauty? Is it ugly? Is it horror? Is it exquisite? It's everything, obviously. And you look at every time you trip and fall. Every time you trip and fall. At first, whenever I fell back into sin, I used to weep and rage against myself and against God for having suffered it. Afterwards, it was as much as I could dare ask, why hast thou rolled me again in the mud, O my playfellow? Then even that came to my mind to seem too bold and presumptuous. I could only get up in silence, look at him out of the corner of my eye, and clean myself. That's Sri Aurobindo. That's the predicament. You see, Christ is standing here, right here. He's on this shoulder, and Buddha's on this shoulder. See? And you're going along saying, I think I'll eat that, I think, oh, I want that, ooh, And then you say it. And Buddha's standing there saying to Christ, dig that, man. What else are they going to feel but compassion, I mean, anything else is just getting sucked into the trip. One of them doesn't say to the other, I've got to stop that. When? For who? What? Creating forms again, eh, Jesus? Come on now, you know where it's at. And the witness, and the mantra, and the candle flame, and our eyes, and the heart of Jesus, and the Guru's body are all exactly the same thing. Those are just a whole set of names for the same thing. Your hridayam, your spiritual heart, same place. All the same place. You can go at it any way you want, but you get to the same place. See, when you're hanging out with a candle flame, if you can do it quiet and calm enough and all the thoughts go by, then you will notice one day that there is no you noticing one day. And you will note that you will come down to realize that just a moment ago there was only the candle flame. And you will have performed what's called samyama, which is the business of, it's the same thing as astral travel. In a way, you will have moved your consciousness, you will have left this one behind and gone and become the candle flame. See, and that's a nice astral trip. You can start to go from here and be there. And you can get really groovy at it, as some saints do in India, and they give darshan in 2 places. So that tonight afterwards you go home and you pick up the phone and you talk to somebody in Los Angeles and they say, I heard Ram Dass tonight. And you say, well, now you couldn't have heard. Because Ram Dass just manifested in a number of forms. Krishna, when he danced with the gopis on the banks of the river in the mad love orgy of worship on the nights of the full moon, he made himself into 16,000 forms to make it with every gopi just the way she dreamed most. Just the way she wanted it most. You're right, Jesus is right. Yeah, wow. Simultaneously. I mean, if you want it all, you got to give it up at all. Give it up at all. But that's what it all starts out. That's all little. That's only 16,000. It's all the cells in the universe, everything. You're making love with all form all the time. Just the candle flame. And then there's just the wherever you happen to be. There's just somebody else's mind, or there's some other place, or 2 places, or 4 places, or 16,000 places, or 32,000. It's like a chain letter. How fast does it get? Infinite. Until pretty soon you're everything. Then you're finished. Because when you say I, you are referring to all form that's possibly conceivable. In other words, there's no longer a you, because there's only I. You've gone out and out and out. You've expanded the I and the I and I until it's everything. By seeing I'm this, now I'm this, now I'm this. That's all the astral planes, you see. All the astral planes of you want to be God of the wind, you want to be the Lord in heaven. How about the Archangel Gabriel? Who would you like to be? You want to be Hanuman? Be the boatman? You can do it all. If you've read the autobiography of a yogi by Yogananda, you get this delicious description of astral planes. And you create mango trees with peaches on them and then make them disappear with your thoughts. And you turn into whoever you want to be all the time. You can dress yourself in whatever body you want. Just like your dreams every night. You're doing that all the time. Doing it right now, see? Doing it right now. I don't know whether I told you this, but one night I had taken a lot of acid and I was going to appear on a show, a David Susskind or something like that. And I was at an apartment in New York, and a chick was sketching faces on the wall. Did I describe this in this room? And she had different faces on the wall, and she asked if she could do my face. And I thought, wow, groovy, sure. So I stood there, and I thought, well, who am I? Who's she sketching? So I thought, well, I'm a young man looking into the future. So she sketched and sketched and sketched, and after about 6 minutes, I thought, wow, I'm really too old and wise for that role. I guess I'm just an old wise man. And I didn't change anything, except I just thought it to be an old wise man. And she erased the whole thing, and she resketched the whole thing. And I said, well, I'm obviously everything. I started to think about Krishna, and I thought, wow, this is a gopi, and I'm her lover, and this is an act, we're doing a thing together, And she erased the whole thing again, and she did it. She finds that I can't do it. Your face is just like rubber. It's just like putty. There's no way. What I'm saying is you're manifesting your trip right now in your body and the way your muscles are in your face, the whole business. It's all just statement. It's so redundant. So redundant. Everything about you keeps saying the same thing. And the secret of digging your own karma is to stand back and read your own message. See? It's like you got a book and you're at page 24 and you're in the script on page 24. Then she came down the stairway, her negligee flowing behind her. See, and you're walking down the stairway, your negligee floating behind you. See? You're also reading a book about it, and then she walked down the stairway, her negligee floating behind her. And you can turn to the next page and see what happened next when she got to the bottom of the stairs. Ha! Want to know the future? Come to the astral planes. Vacation in the astral planes this year. But so what? See, so what? What are you going to do about it? I'll do something about it. I mean, if I could read the future, I'd do something about it. I once sat in the temple in India, and I kept reading these books about all the powers you get. So I thought, groovy, what do I do with all these powers? While I'm doing rising, falling. One of the digressions that took about 3 days, was what do I do with all the powers I'm collecting? So I thought, well, if I can put myself in anybody's head, I'll go into Mao's head, and I'll go into Lyndon Johnson's head at the time, and I'll go into the United Nations head, and we'll all become one consciousness, and we'll love. We'll manifest as a statement of love, and it'll be very easy. And then I thought, well, what about that problem? Well, what about that problem? Well, what about that problem? And before I realized that I had created such a nightmare in the world because I was trying to do it all from a horizontal level. I wasn't really outside it. I was still sort of in the middle of it, trying to do right. And anybody that tries to do right horizontally without having a very good understanding of how it all is creating new karma as fast as they're finishing with the old, and usually doing the opposite of what they thought they would do.